I'm going to trust you, Samson. If you kill me, if my head is...
Yo guys, welcome back to your favorite channel, Latest Movie Stories. In this video, we're breaking down the full story of 28 years later, the Bone Temple. Not only is the outbreak getting worse, but this time, Spike has to face a twisted cult led by a psychotic blonde-haired leader. Curious just how brutal this film is. Rumored to be shot entirely on an iPhone? Let's dive right in. For anyone who hasn't seen the previous installments yet, just search YouTube for Latest Movie Stories 28 years later, or check the description box below. As you'll remember from the last part, after Spike brought the baby back to their community, he chose to leave and wander entirely on his own. 28 days later, Spike is roasting fish over a fire when he has to fight off a group of approaching zombies to survive.
Wonderful shot!
Watching Spike pull off such an epic fight, Jimmy, the preacher's son, is immediately impressed. Right then and there, Jimmy decides to take Spike in as one of his own. But before he's fully accepted, Spike gets bullied by Jimmy's 7 followers. Jimmy, their leader, announces that Spike must first fight Saeed to the death if he wants to join. He only keeps exactly 7 members, all wearing matching blonde wigs. Thinking it's nothing, Saeed laughs it off and agrees to the fight. Overconfident and looking down on Spike, Saeed decides to fight him, with nothing but his bare hands.
Unlucky, pal. Knife.
Seeing how awkward and clumsy Spike looked, Saeed told him to pick up his knife again.
He's half your fucking size.
I tell you what. I'm gonna skin you with your own fucking blade. Fuck, what the fuck?
But suddenly, using a cunning trick where he dropped his pants to distract his opponent, Spike drove his knife straight into the leg of the overconfident Saeed, inflicting a severe wound and causing massive blood loss. Upon seeing the blood gushing out, Saeed instantly panicked and begged for mercy. Yet, the rules were clear. This was a fight to the death.
Just getting hungry? Sleepy.
Just like that, Saeed's story came to an end. All because he was outsmarted by a simple trick. With Spike victorious, Jimmy immediately welcomed him into the group, whose members all wore matching robes and blonde wigs. To mark his induction, Spike was also given a blonde wig, signifying his status as one of Jimmy's followers. The scene then shifts to a man we'll call Jack, who is out hunting deer. While waiting and keeping watch, he hears strange sounds coming from behind the dense foliage. Good God! Just like one of Sub-Zero's fatality moves, Jack's body is torn apart and he dies instantly at the hands of an alpha zombie. Right away, the alpha zombie and its pack begin devouring Jack's body. Just as the alpha is feasting on his head, its attention is suddenly drawn away by the sound of someone singing.
Man's coming up for her.
It turns out the voice belongs to Dr. Kelson, who is carrying an infected corpse to bury it at the Bone Temple. In an instant, Kelson freezes, blocked once again by the alpha zombie, known for its sharp intelligence and terrifying strength. He barely manages to dodge, but still manages to hit the alpha with a dart, knocking it out cold. Yet, instead of finishing it off, Kelson tends to its wounds, covered in old scars, swollen veins, and arrow wounds. For some reason, he decides he wants this creature as a companion. He even gives it a name, Samson. Back at the temple, Kelson returns to his daily work, building monuments out of human and zombie bones he has collected. Once he is done, he retreats to his hidden bunker to rest. The next morning, Samson comes to him again, seemingly craving the sedative Kelson injected into it. Seeing this as progress, Kelson gestures for Samson to come closer.
I'm going to trust you, Samson. If you kill me, if my head is...
Slowly, he tries to communicate with it, testing whether his formula can truly restore a zombie's consciousness. Seeing how calm and still Samson is, Kelson decides to take a huge gamble. He injects a small dose of the serum into himself. If it works, he will wake up unharmed, but if it fails, he will be torn to pieces by Samson while he lies unconscious. The very next morning, Kelson wakes up completely unharmed, so overjoyed he even does a little happy dance. He is now fully convinced that his serum successfully suppresses Samson's violent instincts. That same night, he immediately prepares more batches of his special formula to give to the alpha. And as the doses are administered little by little, we see it clearly. Samson slowly regains his human awareness and consciousness. The scene then shifts to a group of survivors out exploring in search of food supplies. Remaining watchful, Katie is delighted when she finds some wild mushrooms. But in an instant, panic hits them when they spot a zombie wandering past. Thinking it's only one, Jono, who wants to loot undisturbed, decides to take it out. But the attack isn't quick enough. The noise draws more and more zombies toward them. Worse yet, blood splashes right into Jono's eyes, infecting him instantly.
Jono lost himself.
Later, once they return to the safe zone, they are confused to see old George already in a state of panic.
Hello?
Without nowhere but for this one. Tinky Winky decided to come.
Their shock turns to dread when Jimmy and his group arrive at their home. Without wasting any words, Katie immediately asks what Jimmy wants. With terrifying calmness, Jimmy declares that they have come to eliminate every survivor in this land, except for the 7 of them. Realizing this is no empty threat, Biwak prepares to act. Seeing Katie run off, Jimmy orders one of his followers to give chase.
To lose both her and the baby. We'll stay here tonight. Go find pastures, Nick.
Tinky Winky and the fucking apples.
Moments later, Kelly, the one sent after her, appears completely at ease until he spots a zombie approaching. Cut back to Kelson. As usual, he's right there, gently guiding Samson as if they're dancing together. Just then, Kelly happens to pass by and freezes in utter shock at the sight of a human being on friendly terms with an alpha zombie. After watching what Kelson is doing, he hurries straight back to report this to Jimmy. We return to Jimmy, who is preparing to perform a sacrifice to the demon he worships. It's truly chilling. After his own father, a priest, turned into one of the infected, Jimmy built this twisted cult of his own, calling it Seven Bull Devil. Without wasting another second, he commands his followers to get everything ready at once. After putting on masks made from all sorts of discarded scraps, they are ordered to carry out a brutal punishment known as skinning alive. Right away, Spike is overwhelmed and visibly shaken, so Kelly tries to calm him down. Unable to stomach their cruelty any longer, Spike begs Kelly to let him wait outside instead. By nightfall, after they have flayed the parents alive, Jimmy reveals he deliberately spared Tom because he now wants to recruit Tom as their newest member. But as always, Tom must replace one of the existing members by fighting them to the death. And if he dares refuse, Jimmy will not hesitate to flay him alive himself. Left with no choice, Tom accepts the offer and picks someone to face. At that exact moment, Katie, who is about to rush to help, is paralyzed with horror at the sight of her own family, already skinned. Back to Tom. He chooses the timid, awkward-looking girl named Mima as his opponent.
So fucking fight.
Easy, cunt.
Time for Tubby night.
Get it.
He assumes she will be weak, but he is dead wrong. Mima turns out to be one of Jimmy's most sadistic followers, and before finishing him off, she intends to torture him first. Seeing her brother in mortal danger, Katie grabs a grappling hook and prepares to intervene.
Listen to me. Fiffy up.
Oh my God! You can't even begin to imagine the agony. One single strike against the table, and his head is already split wide open. Jimmy spots Katie right then and orders everyone, "Seize her alive!" While their attention is distracted, Tom fights back using a 10-kilogram LPG gas cylinder. Even though he loses his own life in the process, Tom manages to set several of Jimmy's followers on fire. Outside, the rest are confused and alarmed by the screams coming from inside the warehouse. Jimmy is furious when he finds two of his men killed by such an unexpected attack. He immediately turns his anger on Spike, snapping at him for standing by and doing nothing amid the chaos. But his rage fades the moment Kelly speaks up. Earlier that day, he saw a bald man living up on a hill filled with skull monuments. And even more unbelievable, the man appeared to be living alongside an alpha zombie. It sounds impossible, but Jimmy is intrigued enough to order Kelly to lead him there at once. We then cut to those skull monuments. Thanks to all the doses of his special formula, Samson has fully regained human-like awareness. He now eats normal food. And most remarkably of all, he has even regained a sense of decency, wrapping himself in cloth so he no longer wanders around naked. Back with Jimmy's group, he stares in awe at the hill covered in skull monuments. He is convinced this fortress of bones is the devil's own castle, home to the demon he worships, especially now that he knows an alpha zombie has been tamed here. Spike, who already knows exactly who lives there, can only stay silent as Jimmy sets his sights on finding Kelson. Moments later, Jimmy is left speechless when he sees for himself. Every single monument is built from human skulls. He cannot believe one man could have done all this alone. Overwhelmed by what he sees, Jimmy marches straight toward Kelson.
Hello?
Getting straight to the point, Jimmy puts his theory to the test, demanding to know if Kelson is the very demon ancestor he has worshipped all this time. But Kelson simply replies that he is nothing more than a doctor. Jimmy refuses to believe it, utterly convinced that Kelson is the devil himself, hiding behind the guise of a healer. Seeing he will not change his mind, Kelson calmly suggests they talk by the riverbank. There, acting strangely shy and awkward, Jimmy asks Kelson to put on a display of dark power, something to convince his doubting followers. Then his tone turns cold. He threatens Kelson to agree, warning that if he refuses, he will kill him right here and now. Kelson buys himself time, telling Jimmy to return tomorrow night.
I'd planned for it to be gradual, but hemorrhage and sensory component.
That night, Kelson finishes brewing his latest formula and brings it to Samson. He truly believes this is the breakthrough he's been waiting for, capable of purging the rabies virus from Samson's body forever. For him, this is the very last chance he has to save Samson.
Samson!
The next morning, dressed simply in a wrap of cloth, Samson is fully human once more. For the first time in years, he feels the cool touch of water and the gentle breeze against his skin. As he wanders slowly, something catches his eye: an abandoned train. The moment he steps inside, long-buried memories come flooding back. Memories of a world that existed long before the rabies outbreak ever began.
Ticket, please. Ticket!
Oh my God! Whether they sense it or smell it, the other infected refuse to accept their alpha returning to his human self. Driven by rage, they swarm forward, determined to turn Samson back into one of them. Will Samson be okay? Meanwhile, Kelson picks an Iron Maiden track to make his performance even more convincing. That night, Jimmy arrives and is immediately stunned by everything Kelson has prepared. He signals his followers to step closer to the altar, all wearing crude masks cobbled from old scraps. Just as they stand awestruck by the sight, Kelson steps forward, fully in character as a bald demon.
Fingers.
Breathing heavily, he performs his tricks and theatrics. But Jimmy, completely swept up in the moment, rambles on about his twisted mission, flaying skin, slaughtering every last human left alive. As he listens to this madness, Kelson's attention drifts to one familiar face in the crowd.
Spike.
His blood runs cold when he sees Spike, now part of Jimmy's group. Realizing Spike is terrified and trapped, Kelson decides to turn the cult against their leader. Still playing the part of the demon, he declares that their 7-bull devil leader must pay the price. Jimmy himself is to be sacrificed. crucified upside down. For Kelly, who has long hated Jimmy, this is the perfect chance to strike. But Jimmy's courage crumbles instantly. He calls it all a lie, a trick, and refuses to give himself up.
Kelson!
I'll wring your fucking neck!
In that chaos, Spike acts like a force of nature, driving his blade straight into Jimmy. As Jimmy falls, Spike rushes to Kelson, who is already fading fast. Kelson smiles and says he is glad he could help Spike one last time. Knowing he has little time left, he tells Spike and Kelly to head north. There is someone there who can keep them safe. But before they go, he gives them one final instruction regarding Jimmy. Right after that, Kelly takes Spike north to find the person Kelson spoke of. But who could this mysterious figure be? As Spike and Kelly leave, Jimmy, crucified and delirious, sees Samson as a demon come to claim him. And it's truly incredible. Even after being bitten and sprayed with infected blood, Samson remains completely immune to the rabies virus. He turns to the dying Kelson and gives him a silent look of gratitude. As a final act of respect, Samson lifts Kelson's body to carry him to his final resting place.
Why have you forsaken?
And boom! Jimmy gets exactly what he deserves, devoured alive by the infected. We then cut to a quiet house hidden away in the northern hills.
Bankrupting Germany, the world helped it.
Inside, a girl named Sam calls out for her father.
Economies that outstripped. Sam, think.
There he is at last. Sam's father is none other than Jim, the hero we've been waiting for ever since 28 days later. And as you might remember, Sam is the daughter of Jim and Selena, his partner from the first film. If you've forgotten, go check out our earlier videos right here on Latest Movie Stories. Just as they speak, both of them freeze, shocked by screams coming from outside.
They're chasing someone.
It turns out those screams are Spike and Kelly, running for their lives as a horde of zombies chases them down. Terrified, Sam begs her father to help them at once. And there he is, the one Kelson meant all along. The brave, iconic survivor Jim, played by Cillian Murphy. But will Jim be able to save them in time? We'll have to find out in the next chapter. And that's it, guys. The end of all the madness in 28 years later. The Bone Temple. After all that heart-pounding chaos with Jimmy's twisted cult, we got the biggest surprise of all, Cillian Murphy returning as Jim. What do you think? Is Jim's return going to be the key to saving what's left of the world? Drop your craziest theories down in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to Latest Movie Stories so you don't miss the next epic part. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.